Welcome back, everybody. This morning, our phones are open on the subject of some coverage. Do you know what that is? You should. Our guest is Brian Noth, who is a Jeffrey Friedman attorney. So welcome back, Brian. Nice to have you here in this new year.
Thank you. Thanks. Nice to be back.
If you drive a car, you should know about some coverage, SUM, right?
That's correct.
But a lot of people don't because their insurance company doesn't tell them about this.
No, that's exactly it. Some coverage, and let me start by saying that, you hear all the commercials on TV about attorneys, and we can help you with, accident reconstruction, and we'll protect your rights, and we do that as well, and no fee guarantees, and we have that. But the problem is that by the time the accident occurs, you may already not be as fully protected as you should be. And the purpose of the sum coverage, and the reason why insurance companies don't want to tell you about it, is it gives you a lot of coverage to protect yourself at very minimal cost. And in essence, the way it works is if you're involved in a car accident with someone who, let's say, has only the basic $25,000 in coverage, you can purchase additional coverage beyond that. We're all worried about if we hit somebody that we're going to protect that stranger out there, and so we get a lot of liability coverage, but nobody knows about getting some coverage to protect themselves and their family. And in essence, if you purchase some coverage of, let's say, $100,000, once you collect the $25,000 from the other insurance company, you can then go to your company and say, okay, I want to now tap into my benefits for my pain and suffering or my economic loss. And you would have, in essence, another $75,000 in coverage through your own company. And it's not required, it's optional. And from what I'm told from insurance people, their companies just don't want to tell people about it because it exposes, obviously, the company to potentially $75,000 at pennies on the dollar.
Out, right.
Exactly.
But let me ask you this. This was a bill that was brought about that you had to tell people that this was available, and the governor vetoed it. Why would he veto that?
Yeah, the House and or the Assembly and the Senate passed a bill back in June or July.
Right, it wasn't Governor Cuomo, but before him, yeah.
No, it actually was. And then
it was.
It was.
I thought it was before him.
No, it was presented to the governor in December.
Okay.
And he vetoed it. And the message he put out with the veto was that he didn't like the way the bill was set up, because what it did was it required companies to give you some coverage equal to your liability coverage. So if you got $100,000 in liability, you'd automatically get 100 in some, 250, 300, whatever it might be. And he felt that it was, forcing people to opt in as compared to everything else where, you can have a choice. So he felt that it was burdening people and putting an extra cost on people the way it was set up.
Okay.
And the unfortunate thing is that nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
And this would have, put it out there. People can still opt out if they chose not to carry the coverage, but they would know about it. And he vetoed it and, basically said that no, instead, he'd like the government to work harder about educating people about some coverage. So that's why this actually segment is sort of fitting in the sense of, we need to try to get the message out to people about, some coverage to protect themselves.
Well, let's also look at it the other way. We have a day like today where, it's slippery, it's sliding, you're getting into fender benders out there. What if somebody hits you, they don't have enough insurance, or they have no insurance? Now, it's illegal to drive without it, but as we were saying, in this economy, you're going to have more people riding that fine line of not having enough insurance or just going without. What's going to happen? I mean, this is where you have to protect yourself. You can't always assume that the other guy is going to have plenty of insurance to make sure your needs are met.
No, that's exactly right, and you're right. And they talk about the numbers of people that are uninsured increasing, and the beauty of the sum coverage, which is both uninsured and underinsured, is it protects you in both situations. We talked about if the person has less insurance than you do, but even more so if the person has no insurance, you can then immediately go to your coverage to protect yourself.
Yeah.
So you're in essence, almost like life insurance or other types of insurance that you go out there and purchase. You are doing something to protect yourself, protect your family, because most of the time you're not going to get hit by the Coca-Cola truck or somebody who's got a lot of insurance.
Sure.
It also protects you if it's a hit and run accident. You can then look to your insurance company for the benefits that you've paid for.
Well, it's really nice to know that you, with Jeffrey Friedman and all the attorneys that work under that one umbrella, are really up on this, because you can actually talk to people about this and make sure that they have what they need, but also represent them when the time comes. And what I wanted to let everybody know is that when you hear the attorneys from Jeffrey Friedman, they're not just in one building. You folks are in one in New York, so no matter where you are, you're going to need a Jeffrey Friedman attorney. They're there for you.
That's absolutely right. We're down in the southern tier. We're in Niagara Falls. We go all the way out as far as Canandaigua and the Finger Lakes. We're obviously here in the city as well. And the beauty of having these different offices is we can go to where the people are, to meet with them, discuss things, explain the process, and go through everything with them, and hopefully help them at that point in time. But as like we're doing today, hopefully giving people a bit of a leg up and go out and get some additional coverage so you are protected, so we're not having a conversation later and saying, wow, it'd be great if you had some coverage.
Yeah, because that's where you get called in, is that when people do have these expenses and they find out that, oh, guess what, I don't have the coverage and this person doesn't have the coverage, I have to get an attorney here.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice if people do have that extra coverage so that when we do get involved, we can then help them get, fair compensation for their injuries.
How expensive is some coverage?
I mean, I have some coverage, I think to the tune of something like $500,000. And if I'm paying 20, 30, 50, probably less than $100.
Okay, a year?
A year for that coverage.
Okay, so it
varies by company, but it's very, very inexpensive.
It behooves you to pick up the phone, call your insurance agent and say, do I have some coverage? And if they say no, I want to pick up a policy.
That's exactly it.
Because the person you're protecting is yourself.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
And you can go up to the amount of liability coverage you have. So if you have 100,000 liability, you can go up to that. If you have higher limits, you can go up to those as well.
Yeah. Brian, tell me about some of the other issues that you folks are expert in when it comes to protecting people out there.
Well, obviously, the fair bit of our work is motor vehicle accidents, but we also handle construction accidents. We do a lot of slip and falls, obviously, with the weather as it is in Western New York. We handle dog bites. We also do a lot of, unfortunately, medical malpractice, which is becoming an increasing area with a lot more claims than there have ever been before. Hospital negligence and the like. So that's becoming a larger part of our practice. We also represent people who've been injured by products, injuries on property. We pretty much cover the whole gamut of potential legal services, and we get involved. We help them with their no fault. We help them get their medical bills paid. We obviously help them deal with the other insurance companies, and then if necessary, we put cases into suit and we take cases to trial.
Well, the one thing that I really like, and I'm feeling comfortable with, Brian, because I know you and you've been on the show before, is that when you do need a service, you have someone like Brian who can work with you, and then you always feel like you have an ally, even if you have to end up in court. But now you have someone who is a respected professional that you can call for other different subjects when it comes to the law, because you're proficient in all of this stuff.
We are, and we sort of have to be, as far as that goes. And you're right about being able to somebody to call and be an ally, because, you're usually dealing with an insurance company on the other side, and they're going out and getting the high-paid attorneys to represent them. And we, by doing things on a contingent basis and the like, are able to also offer to the injured person, the same quality of legal representation that the insurance company is getting on the other side.
Well, there's a wonderful feeling of satisfaction, because when they get to know you, Brian, they get to know you as a person, and they really do feel that you are out for their best interest, and it becomes a great relationship. It's not just a lawyer-client, it's a friend and it's a trusted person, and that's what you and all the folks from Jeffrey Friedman Attorneys have been about for years.
No, that's it, and that's where that counselor part of being an attorney comes in, because we do, become almost fully immersed in their lives. They ask us questions about all different types of things as you go through the process, and we're communicating with them frequently, and assisting them in a variety of ways, because it almost seems that whenever they're injured, everything else in their lives seems to sort of start falling apart. So, and the beauty of the relationship is that if they're then satisfied, then they'll refer their friends and family to us, and that's usually the way we get a lot of our cases is through referrals from former clients.
And I don't need to say more. Brian North is with Jeffrey Friedman Attorneys. If you need his help, give him a call at 856-7091. These folks are here to protect you, and you can learn more at jeffreyfriedman.com.